Color and design expert Brenda Pinnick is here to share her color wisdom. And today Brenda is speaking of values. Sounds intriguing. I'm delighted to welcome Brenda Pinnick. Hi, Brenda.
Hi, Tiffany. Hi, everybody. Nice to see you on this happy Monday. I have a project today. Last episode, I reduced what I was talking about down to working with 3 hues. It was called the Magic of 3. Well, today I've taken it way down, and I'm using 1 hue for my project. And I'm doing that because I want to show you how understanding values in color can help you be a better designer. We all spend a lot of money and time on our crafting projects, and the more knowledge you have about color, the better chances you'll have of having a really wonderful finished piece. Color knowledge is like just one other tool in your toolbox for designing and for crafting or for making art. It's a tool that's free. Just spend a little bit of time practicing, and you'll be surprised at the differences it can make. Today's project is a surface design that I did on fabric. I actually used just a nice white cotton canvas, and you can see that I chose to work with the color red for this project. Now, my project isn't completely finished yet. I have trouble deciding at the very last minute whether I want to make a pillow or a purse. So maybe I'll let you all vote and you tell me what you think I should make with this. But I did finish the surface design portion of it. So I'm going to show you today how I did that, and then I'm going to talk about the values and what an important part that played in this process when I'm done showing what I used and how I did it. Hold on a second. I'm going to move my camera, and let's get set up here. I'm sorry if I make you dizzy. Okay, this looks pretty good. I think I'm close to where I need to be. So here's my project. And what you're going to need for this to create a project like this is some tracing paper and a pattern. And you can either draw your own, or I will be making my pattern, this pattern along with some other patterns, available soon on the marketplace here on Cool2Craft. It's not up today, but it will be soon. You're also going to need some fabric, and you could choose silk or cotton, whatever suits your fancy. And I've got a nice heavyweight canvas here, so I'm ready to go. Now, what I did for this pattern, let me go back and hold this up one more time, or show you one more time, is I wanted to do a free-form design, because when you take away the imagery when you're working with color, it forces you to look more at the color and to learn. We don't get hung up on, oh, is an apple red or is a banana yellow. So if you take away the imagery, it's a fun way to explore color. The first thing I did is I cut a 13 by 13 square piece of tracing paper. I created my stitching lines where this is going to be my seam allowance. So when I sew, I've got a 1/2 inch. Then I came in and I measured 2 inches from each side, and created a grid all the way around my piece. I like the structure of that, and it also, what's going to happen is, within this design, every time I cross a line, I'm going to change color, okay? So actually, I'm not going to change color, I'm going to change the value and the saturation. Okay, so you see where I'm going with that. Okay, so for this design, I drew my grid, I just grabbed a pen, and I just did some nice big kind of calligraphic, hand-done loops, and created just a nice flowing pattern. I thought this was a lot of fun, kind of modern. What I'm using today for my project is I'm using Liquitex ink, and this is from the good people at C&T Publishing, and their Liquitex Fabric Medium. I'm using white acrylic paint. This happens to be from Dale Aroney, and some brushes, and I'm about ready to go. The other thing you'll need is dressmaker transfer paper. I've got, happen to be red, and so what you're going to do is, once you've got your pattern, place this underneath, do your tracing, and transfer the image. Now, what I use for tracing, I like the duller, rounder edge of a paintbrush because it doesn't poke through the paper. So So you're going to have to press kind of hard, transfer that image, and then pull it up, make sure it's going through. And then what I like to do is I like to come back on top of it, and I'm using a Derwent Inktense pencil here called Poppy Red, and it's a water-soluble pencil. I come right back on top and draw right on top so that I can see it better. Okay, assuming that my pattern is all transferred now, I've got my paint here, my paint dish, and what I've got is I've got some white acrylic paint, and then about double that size of this fabric medium. And what that does is it enables the fabric to absorb and hold on to the pigment. So for my first hue, I'm going to go ahead and just add a little bit. I'm going to do my lighter ones first, just for the purposes of demonstration. And I like the ink because I can measure how much color I'm putting in, because I'm going to actually be creating 3 or 4 different hues, or 3 or 4 different values and saturations. So for the first one, I'm just going to add, let's just say, about 4 drops. That was about 4 drops. I'm going to mix it up, mix it all up real nice. Yummy, yummy, yummy. I don't know about you, but I get on kicks for certain colors, and I've been all about red lately. Okay, let's make sure that's all nice and mixed. That looks great. That's about this one right here, which is, if you have a value scale, it's good to check. A value scale, what values refer to is the dark, light, or the chromatic light to dark contrast. So if you took this surface pattern and scanned it in black and white, or put it on a copier, black and white, you would see how dark and light each of these hues is, each one of these sections. So for this first one, I'm looking at what looks to be about a number 4, number 5 possibly, about a number 5 on the value scale. So this is going to be my medium one here. Now, if you're smart, you'll put something underneath your fabric here, which I forgot to do, but that's okay. We're going to go right on ahead. And I'm going to start right here. And you can see what happens is when you use this fabric medium, it keeps the paint from bleeding onto the other areas. My favorite brush of all time is a flat. I use flats almost exclusively for everything I do. I just love them. But whatever works for. But you can see how fast and easy this is. So we've done the first section. Imagine we've done the first section. Now I want to come back in and I want to add in, a darker area. So I'm going to come back in, get my ink out, a couple more drops. You want it, in working with values, you want to step it out enough so that there's a discernible difference. Okay, I don't have enough difference right there. That's my timer telling me I've got 2 minutes left. Excuse me. So now you can see a difference. Okay, I'm going to stop right now, and I'm going to talk to you about values and why it's important to know that, how values work. Values enable you, whether you're designing jewelry or surface design or paintings, it doesn't matter. It's important in everything that you do because it enables you to move the viewer's eye from section to section. It creates depth, it creates variety, and you can see this is a really harmonious piece, but it's also got a lot of variety, so it makes it very interesting to look at. I've got, because I added white to mine, that created tints, so that also changed the saturation as well as, I'm going to move my camera back, it changed the saturation as well as the value. So now I've got a nice variety of reds here. So, and of course, I was watching Heidi with her button demonstration, and I real quick ran and grabbed some of my stash for my buttons, also from Bloomingdale Lansing, because I love their stuff, and thought I'm going to come back in at the very end, and I'm going to add on some little buttons for some highlights here on this piece. So I hope that inspires you to play around with some values in your colors. And the best way to learn it really is just to pick one hue, whichever one suits your mood for the day, and start there and explore intensities and explore if you go on white, say if you're using watercolor paper, of course the white from the paper comes through and it creates a tint just by virtue of the properties of the ink or the paint. But play around with that and see how that can affect